Welcome back everyone to the channel, and Happy New Year, which will probably just feel like last year but with more restrictions. And so it's the day after the night before. I may have partied like an 18-year-old on his first trip to Amsterdam, so my apologies, because this build will be fast and messy. So after a night of partying, I had a headache from hell, which best described as having Adele singing I Will Always Love You in one ear and Taylor Swift shaking it off in the other. So I needed to do a build which was quick and easy, and to keep me from reaching for another drink as the in-laws start singing Knees Up Mother Brown for the 5th time on TikTok. So I did what any normal man would do, retire to his shed simply because the pubs aren't open anymore. I grabbed a couple of bags of assorted junk and popped 2 paracetamol and began the build. I'd been talking to another YouTuber who's just starting out called Scratch My Junk. Go check him out and give him a sub. Tell him I sent you. Anyway, we were spitballing ideas for perhaps a future collaboration together, and I was watching some of his videos and he was doing a lot of Star Wars stuff, so I thought, what would be simpler in trying to make a Star Wars spaceship, or more in keeping with what a spaceship would look like in the Star Wars universe. And guess what? I guess I failed. I think what I built would look more suitable in a James Cameron sci-fi movie. So like I said, I was just going to keep this build nice and easy and limiting myself to what I could use. So I just picked 2 random bags of plastic junk and just started building from there. And I'm going to give a shout out, and I'm going to put the names across the bottom of the screen now, to the ladies that keep me supplied in plastic bottle tops. So as you can see, I'm just using all the little bits from inside the spray bottle lids, and this is the kind of spaceship I would probably have if I was a space pirate. Obviously I'm not a space pirate, but if I was, I'd want to drive one of these, particularly this spaceship, but I couldn't have a parrot on my shoulder. It'd have to be a robot parrot, and I'd probably get Andy Mecca to make the robot parrot for me, because he makes better robots than me. So yeah, so what I'm doing, I'm just adding bits, and I stuck a bit of a squeezy bottle to the side because it was reminding me too much of Boba Fett's Slave One spaceship. So those rings that you see that I'm putting on now, they're from the squeezy bottles, and then I think I'm going to use a lid. I'm just going to chop the nozzle off and to use them as rocket boosters. Now this guy was an old abandoned steampunk bat car that I was trying to make, and so I decided to take it apart and use the pieces for the spaceship. So technically I was bashing my own kit bash, if that's such a thing. And then I just kept adding little bits of greeblies here and there, using the activator spray because I found it and I still had some in it. The activator spray sets the super glue off just as fast as the baking powder, and you'll see me use either one, no particular preference. Although what I have found with the activator spray is it does set the super glue, if super glue's run down certain bits of the plastic, it does set it, so I was just trimming that sort of spillage of the super glue, and just keep adding greebles here and there just to make it sort of look like a spaceship, I guess. Not that I know of any spaceships that look like this. I'm just adding a bit more, and then I did a little dry run on the police light. Everything worked fine there, but then later on, once everything had been put onto the spaceship, it was too heavy for the motor, and I actually burnt the motor out when I'd tried it again, so there was another fail. And then once my spaceship was sufficiently shining bright like a diamond with all the bejazzled bits, it was time for a prime. So I just used a cheap black primer from the Euro store or Poundland. Now, to keep it simple, and because my head was pounding, I just used a dry brush of silver, and soon realised it looked more George Clooney Silver Foxy than Han Sexy Solo, so I decided to add colour, and then I'm gonna add some blue highlights to the spaceship, the kind of blue that your nan has in her hair. I'm going over all the edges with the blue paint, and soon I realised I still wasn't happy with the colour, so I decided to up the ante and go to my go-to colour of choice, which is a green. So I cracked open the green to cover the bigger areas of the spaceship to give it a different look. Then went all in like Boris on a cheeky Christmas party. That never happened, obviously, and decided it still needed more colour, so I sprung out the red just to give it some more highlights. I found some transfers at the back of the shed in a cupboard and thought, you know, what the hell, they'd probably look good on the spaceship, and stuck them on before giving them probably the same look I gave the other half when she told me her in-laws were coming over for Christmas dinner, which was distressed. After the transfers, I just broke out a bit of white and just gave it some random graffiti bits and pieces here and there. And to quote Diana Ross, I got a pedestal and put the spaceship on it. So my thoughts on the end result? Well, kept me out of the house while the in-laws were shaking the booty on TikTok, and served its purpose of me staying outside the house. So all in all, it was a win-win. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Laters.